The little girl sat quietly on the edge of a fountain, swinging her legs as she watched the elegant woman step out of a black luxury car. The woman looked confident, successful, and completely out of reach. Then the child leaned close to her father, squeezed his hand, and whispered something that made his heart stop. "Daddy, I wish she was my mom." Neither of them knew that the woman had heard every word. Ethan Carter never imagined that life would become so quiet. 5 years earlier, his world had been full of laughter, family dinners, and dreams about the future. Then a sudden illness took his wife, Sarah, leaving him alone with their 3-year-old daughter, Lily. The first year had nearly broken him. There were nights when he sat on the kitchen floor after Lily had fallen asleep, staring at unpaid bills and wondering how he would survive. There were mornings when he had to learn how to braid hair by watching online videos. There were school events where he was the only father standing among groups of mothers. But somehow he kept going. Not because he was strong, because Lily needed him. Now, 5 years later, Ethan worked as a project manager for a construction company. The pay wasn't extraordinary, but it was enough to provide a modest life. He rented a small house, drove an aging pickup truck, and spent every free moment with his daughter. Lily was 8 years old and carried a light that seemed impossible to dim. She had Sarah's smile, Sarah's eyes, and the same habit of caring deeply about everyone around her. One bright Saturday morning, Ethan took Lily to a charity event being held at the city park. Families filled the open fields. Children ran through colorful booths while musicians played cheerful songs. "Daddy, can we get ice cream?" Lily asked. "You just had pancakes." "But ice cream is different." "How?" "It makes people happier." Ethan laughed. "That's a dangerous argument." As they walked through the crowd, a sudden commotion caught everyone's attention. Several black vehicles pulled up near the main stage. People immediately began whispering, "That's her. The CEO. I can't believe she came." Lily stood on her toes. "Who?" Ethan followed everyone's gaze. A tall woman stepped from the center vehicle. She wore a simple white blouse and navy slacks, yet somehow looked more impressive than anyone around her. Her name was Victoria Hayes. At 36, she had built one of the largest technology companies in the state. Business magazines constantly featured her. News outlets called her one of the most influential CEOs in the country. Yet what surprised Ethan most was that she wasn't surrounded by arrogance. Instead, she smiled warmly at volunteers, shook hands with children, and thanked everyone she met. "She seems nice," Lily said. "Looks that way." Victoria spent nearly an hour talking with families before heading toward the fountain area. Ethan and Lily happened to be sitting nearby. Lily watched Victoria with open admiration. Then came the moment that changed everything. The little girl leaned close. "Daddy." "Yeah. I wish she was my mom." Ethan froze. His heart tightened instantly. For a second, he didn't know what to say. Lily looked down. "I didn't mean I don't love mommy." Ethan swallowed. "I know. Her voice became small. "Sometimes when my friends talk about their moms, I wonder what it's like." The words hit him harder than anything else. Because she wasn't complaining. She wasn't angry. She was simply honest. And honesty from children often hurt the most. Ethan wrapped an arm around her shoulders. "Your mom loved you more than anything." "I know. And she'd be really proud of you." Lily nodded. But Ethan could see the sadness hiding behind her smile. What neither of them realized was that Victoria Hayes was standing only a few feet away. And she had heard everything. She quietly turned away before either of them noticed. Yet throughout the rest of the day, she found herself thinking about the little girl. And about the father trying so hard not to let his daughter see his pain. A week later, Ethan received surprising news. His company had been selected to present a major proposal to Hayes Innovations. The contract was worth millions. Winning it could transform the entire business. "Ethan, you're leading the presentation," his boss announced. "What? Why me?" "Because you're the best person for it." 3 days later, Ethan entered the towering headquarters of Hayes Innovations. The building itself was breathtaking. Glass walls stretched toward the sky, Employees moved with purpose. Everything reflected excellence. Ethan adjusted his tie and reminded himself to stay calm. Then he walked into the conference room and nearly stopped breathing. Sitting at the far end of the table was Victoria Hayes. She recognized him immediately. For a brief second, surprise flashed across her face. Then she smiled. "Mr. Carter, you remember me?" "The park." Ethan nodded. The presentation began. Over the next hour, Ethan explained his team's proposal with confidence and professionalism. Victoria listened carefully. She asked thoughtful questions. Unlike many executives, she wasn't trying to intimidate anyone. She genuinely wanted to understand. By the end of the meeting, Ethan felt oddly comfortable. As people began leaving, Victoria spoke. "Mr. Carter, could you stay for a moment?" His heart immediately started racing. Had he made a mistake? Everyone else exited. The room became quiet. Victoria folded her hands. "How's your daughter?" Ethan blinked. "Lily." "Yes. She's doing well." Victoria smiled softly. "She's wonderful." Ethan looked surprised. "You remember her?" Some people are hard to forget. For a moment, neither spoke. Then Victoria asked gently, "Single parenting isn't easy, is it?" Ethan laughed quietly. No. That's the polite version. That earned a genuine laugh from her. And for the first time, Ethan saw something beneath the polished CEO image. Loneliness. The same loneliness he carried. Over the following months, the business relationship continued. Hayes Innovations awarded Ethan's company the contract. Meetings became regular. Conversations became easier. Sometimes Victoria would ask about Lily. Sometimes Ethan would ask about company projects. Eventually, they began sharing lunch after meetings. Then coffee. Then stories. Victoria revealed that despite her success, her life wasn't as perfect as people imagined. She had spent years focusing entirely on work. Relationships had come and gone. Most people seemed interested in her wealth rather than who she truly was. "I don't even know what a normal life looks like anymore," she admitted one afternoon. Ethan smiled. "Trust me, normal is overrated." "Maybe. You know what matters?" "What?" "Having people who care whether you make it home safely." Victoria looked away, because she couldn't remember the last time anyone had cared that much. And for the first time in years, she wished someone did. 6 months later, Ethan and Victoria had become close friends. Very close. Yet neither was willing to admit what everyone else already saw. Especially Lily. "Daddy likes her," Lily informed her teacher one day. "Really?" "Yep. How do you know?" "He smiles differently." Children noticed everything. One Saturday, Victoria invited Ethan and Lily to a community fundraiser. The event was filled with games, food, and families. Victoria spent most of the afternoon helping children paint murals. Soon her expensive clothes were covered in colorful handprints. Lily thought it was hilarious. "You look funny." Victoria laughed. "I've been told worse. You don't act like a CEO." "How does a CEO act?" "Bossy." Victoria burst into laughter. Ethan shook his head. "I apologize for absolutely nothing she says." "Good," Victoria replied. "I like honesty." As the day continued, something unexpected happened. Lily slipped her hand into Victoria's. The gesture lasted only a second, but it felt much longer. Victoria looked down. Lily smiled naturally, as though it were the most normal thing in the world. Something inside Victoria's heart shifted. A place she thought had permanently closed suddenly began opening. That evening, after dropping Lily home, Victoria sat alone in her penthouse apartment. The city lights sparkled outside enormous windows. Years ago, she had dreamed of this success. Now she looked around and saw how empty it felt. The apartment was beautiful, but it wasn't a home. Not really. For the first time, she found herself wishing for noisy dinners, messy kitchens, movie nights, family, things money couldn't buy. Meanwhile, Ethan faced his own fears that he cared deeply about Victoria, perhaps even loved her. But every time he considered taking the next step, guilt appeared. Was he betraying Sarah? Was he replacing her? One evening he visited Sarah's grave. The sun cast golden light across the peaceful cemetery. He sat quietly for a long time. Then he finally spoke. "I still miss you." The breeze moved softly through nearby trees. "I always will." His eyes filled with tears. "But Lily needs more than memories." Silence answered him. Yet somehow his heart felt lighter. Because deep down he knew something important. Loving again didn't erase the past. It honored it. Sarah had taught him how beautiful love could be. She would never want him to spend the rest of his life alone. A week later, everything changed. Lily's school hosted a family celebration day. Parents, grandparents, and guardians attended together. Victoria came as a guest. During one activity, children were asked to write about the people they admired most. When Lily stood before the audience, she held her paper tightly. Her voice trembled slightly. "My hero is my daddy." Ethan immediately felt emotional. "He works hard every day." Lily smiled at him. "He makes breakfast even when he's tired." Several people laughed. "He helps with homework." Her eyes grew shiny. "And he never lets me feel alone." By now Ethan was struggling to hold back tears. Then Lily continued. "And there's another person I admire." Victoria looked up. "My friend Victoria." The room became quiet. "She helps people." Victoria's eyes widened. "She listens." A tear rolled down Lily's cheek. "And when she's around, my daddy smiles more." The entire audience became emotional. Lily looked directly at Victoria. Then came the words nobody expected. "I still love my mommy." Her voice cracked. "I always will." Victoria nodded gently. "But if I could choose somebody to be part of our family." She took a breath. "I'd choose Victoria." Silence filled the room. Even the teachers looked emotional. Victoria could no longer stop the tears. Neither could Ethan. After the ceremony ended, Lily ran outside with friends. Victoria and Ethan stood alone beneath a large oak tree. Neither spoke at first. Finally Victoria whispered, "She's extraordinary. She gets that from her mother." Victoria smiled through tears. "And from her father." Their eyes met. This time neither looked away. "I've been afraid," Ethan admitted. "So have I." "What if we fail?" Victoria laughed softly. "What if we don't?" The answer felt surprisingly simple. Months later, a small gathering was held in the same park where everything had begun. Family and friends surrounded them. The fountain sparkled beneath the afternoon sun. Lily stood between Ethan and Victoria. The ceremony wasn't extravagant. It didn't need to be. The most meaningful things rarely were. When the officiant finished speaking, Lily raised her hand. Everyone laughed. "Yes, Lily?" he asked. "I have something important." "What is it?" She turned toward Victoria. For a moment, emotion filled her eyes. Then she wrapped her arms around her. "Thank you for choosing us." There wasn't a dry eye in sight. Victoria knelt and hugged her tightly. "No," she whispered. "Thank you for choosing me." Years later, people would ask Victoria about her greatest achievement. They expected her to mention her company, her awards, her success. Instead, she always gave the same answer. "A little girl once wished I could be her mom." She would smile. And somehow, that wish changed all our lives. Life doesn't always give us the family we expect. Sometimes it brings people together through loss, hope, courage, and second chances. Love is not limited by the past, and opening your heart again does not mean forgetting those who came before. The strongest families are built not only by blood, but by kindness, loyalty, sacrifice, and choice. And sometimes, the smallest voice can speak the words that lead everyone exactly where they were meant to be.